Hi, I'm Audrey Wilson, and we're starting a new series called Audrey Wilson's Cooking Show. And my goal is to be able to have everybody eat something healthy, and this is my intent.
Okay, I've been cooking since the time I was very young because my mom worked and she worked at a doctor's office. She's a nurse, and my dad liked to eat at a certain time. And my mom wasn't able to come home in time to cook when my dad wanted to eat, which was, I think, 5 o'clock. And so I had to cook first, starting with rice, and then I cooked the main course, and I ended up cooking most of the meals. So it always has been something I love to do, is cooking. I did go to the university. I did go into home economics. And then my path in my career took me to become like the drink person. I worked for Superior Coffee, which was then owned by Sara Lee, and then I worked for Coca-Cola. So I was always into food, and that exposed me to all of the restaurants. They were my customers. Chefs were my friends that I dealt with in business, but always the love of cooking was always there. And so when Jim and I, he would like to entertain people. We always had people over. I always try to cook a really gourmet meal. It's always been in me. It's just something, I spend more time in the kitchen than I do anywhere else, I think. Sometimes even longer than in the bedroom sleeping. Because I'm there from morning time doing something, and then at a certain time I start cooking dinner. It's just a constant thing. I'm usually up at 4 or 5 o'clock making something, and then it continues on, for lunch and for dinner. So by the time I leave the kitchen, it's like 8 o'clock after I finish cleaning all the dishes. So it's just a love for cooking. And like I said, you gotta love it, because to stand over a hot stove on a hot day and be cooking and all of that, it's just a love. That's all I can say. I look at food as a science, okay? And everything that happens in food, there's a reason. It's either because of a heat, because you cooked it, or cold, or whatever it is, yeah. And even freezing, it's all science. Like, say you freeze tofu, you end up bringing the tofu out and you have a totally different structure, because the water particles, when they melt, all of a sudden, this beautiful tofu, you get a sponge-looking thing. Just stuff like that. It's science. To me, it's cooking is science. So when I do cooking show, when I write my food column in the paper, I do a lot of research. And I want to know why. Why does this happen? Or how come this is called this? Or just all these questions I have in my mind. And probably people don't want to know as much as I want to know, but I just share that because it's just stuff that I've always, curious about. Even, when you go someplace, you travel, or you go out to eat somewhere, it's like, how do you do this? How did they do this? Or how did they make this sauce? Always on my mind. It's constant for me. It's all about food, right? What gives me greatest pleasure when somebody is at the market and they come to me and say, I tried this and it's really good. That makes me feel so good. Or that something I wrote about is their go-to recipe right now. It means a lot to me, because I, help somebody to make a great dish that they're really proud of. And I like that feeling that it's something that they might have seen on the show, or there's something I wrote in the paper that makes them feel that it's a good recipe, and that's my goal, is to have great recipes out there. I enjoy just teaching people, because my background is also, I love to teach kids. So many years I taught culinary at the EBT Silva, the after school program. And they keep calling me, and I wish I could do that. I just don't have the time right now because of the restaurant and everything. But if I could, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be teaching kids once a week how to cook. starting with manners and then just basic stuff. Because the first kids that I taught at E.B. De Silva are now married, out of college and married and having kids. And the first thing I tell them is, I'm teaching you basics because when you go to college, I want you to not eat instant ramen. I want you to be able to cook, you know. And those are the kids that I first taught. I also taught at the summer program at community college. There was a culinary program for kids, and I enjoyed that so much. That was a 2-week program every day. And I missed that. I really missed that. Just teaching kids and showing them. I just thought of something, an experience, and something that I remember is I taught that culinary class at community college, and this kid they're all 12, 13-year-olds, very, you know, you're able to mold them and teach them. And this boy came up to me and said, Auntie, you know, I've never used a real fork in my life, because we set a table. And he said, my whole life I've only eaten out of plastic forks. I've never touched a real fork. And you know, that kind of stuff, it just really touches you, like, oh my gosh. I taught this kid, because this kid, who knows when he grows up what he's going to be and who's he going to eat with. He doesn't even know place settings and all of that. Nobody taught him, because all he did was eat out of a plastic fork on a paper plate his whole life. And those are the things that just hit me, that make me want to continue, you know, teaching and helping people. So just these wonderful memories. I'm Audrey Wilson, and this is the Audrey Wilson Cooking Show. I hope you enjoyed these 2 recipes. They're great salads, they're very easy, and they're very healthy and good for you. Thank you.